say you're Lorne Michaels, a producer, and you find out that a studio, NBC, wants a comedy to fill a certain time slot. They hire you to create this comedy. You hire, in turn, a bunch of writers, and you come up with some good storylines, some scripts that NBC signs off on, and they say produce it. So you now go to actors and say, okay, let's hire this actor right here. This actor's real name is Tom, but here's his script. You're going to play the part of this character that, of course, we wrote, named Dan Aykroyd. Aykroyd as in like hemorrhoid, funny names. So Tom reads the script, does the little performance, and is an instant hit. So the actor, at the end of the day, doesn't own that character. Lorne sees the crowd, loves Dan Aykroyd. There's value now built into that name. So they offer that actor a 2-year contract. You're, of course, at our beck and call whenever we want, and to do whatever we want you to do. So, of course, Tom signs it and says, great. So, after the end of 2 years, the public is still liking Dan Aykroyd. He's not as popular as he was. There's other characters now that they've created. So, he loses his 2-year contract. But they can still hire him whenever they need him to make an appearance. At the end of the day, he's not getting his salary that he was before for those 2 years when he was making big bucks. But he's still got to live. But he can't work as Dan Aykroyd because he doesn't own that character. So what does he do? Well, he creates another character and goes out there and does what he normally does. Acts, is a comedian, but he cannot be Dan Aykroyd because that's not his character. If he were to do that, and let's say gets in trouble, he at that point, if he says he's Dan Aykroyd, he has damaged that character, that property. That's not his. He's ruined that brand name. He could get sued by the people that created that brand name. So you understand the value that this brand name, this celebrity, has. But at the end of the day, the actor is not that person that he's playing the role as. He's not Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd doesn't exist. But to the public, they have to make it so he does exist. So they use his siblings as his spouse. So they create this fake family in the public's eye that doesn't exist. Like I said, when he's in contract for those 2 years, he's Dan Aykroyd. So he has relationships as Dan Aykroyd, but yet those people may or may not be allowed to know who he really, truly is. That's why when you start to dig down deep into these actors' backgrounds, is when you start to see the illusion fall apart. Now, since Lorne Michaels owns that character, because he wrote it, he also has the rights to do whatever he wants with it. This is where the added value of legend making comes into play. Now, at that point, Lorne Michaels, he has this brand that is now legend that he can merchandise and do whatever he wants with, just like Elvis, just like all those rock stars that supposedly died at the same age of a drug overdose. Right. This whole pseudonym use, this creation, started back when radio was popular and DJs were as famous as the bands that they played on their labels. So the record label, in order to keep control of that DJ, they would give them the pseudonym name to use. So if they ever quit or decided to go work for another station, they couldn't take that ID with them and therefore take all the customers that they've created. So this has been used now in the acting field the same way. Now, I'm not saying that this is the way it is for all the actors, but you can understand if they are on a large network, it is in their best interest, if there is a profit to be made and that profit is big enough to justify it, a corporation is going to do it. Now, I've shown the candidate oath form where they can use a pseudonym name and they don't have to even show an ID. They have a third person vouch for their name, and that's how they get into politics. So why wouldn't you think that a corporation would fund an actor to put them in a position to, say, become a mayor or a governor? Because that corporation has a business in that area that they want legislation passed in their favor. It's legal. That's the way it's done. It's not crazy. It's not outrageous. It's in fact the most sane, most logical, and legal way of conducting business. Now, take this concept and let's put it into perspective of, let's say, a government. Would you rather have a government agent fresh out of the academy as your spy, or would you rather have Oprah? Oprah, of course, because she can walk through security, walk into a foreign leader's living room and sit right down and chat away. They create these actors to be spies, to be foreign agents, to be intel gatherers. Understand the usefulness when it comes to corporations and governments by using these actors.